What if the first shot of the Lakers season isn't a blockbuster guard, not a shiny wing, not even a splashy coach scheme reveal, but a raid on Boston's old backbone, a veteran big who has made a living silencing arenas in May? Picture it, late night at LAX, a tall silhouette with a carry-on and a poker face, and the city already buzzing. Because one quiet signature could flip the geometry of the West. Imagine Anthony Davis smiling a half smile you only see when he gets to pick his battles instead of absorbing all of them. Imagine LeBron staring at a floor with one more grown-up in the right place at the right time. The exact kind of player who wins the 3 possessions that decide a series. If that imagery makes your pulse jump, good. Because the window for a move like this doesn't stay open long, and when a rival is dawdling at the door, you either meter Oluco and walk through, or you spend spring telling yourself almost. Here's what you're getting tonight without me spoiling the punchline early. I'm going to show you why this name matters in Los Angeles right now, how the depth chart and the new CBA actually allow it, the timelines that apply pressure, and the basketball blueprint that turns a 39-year-old into a weapon instead of a mascot. I'm going to separate the smoke you're seeing from the spark that lights it, and then we'll talk about what it costs in minutes, touches, money, and ego. If you're here for reality that still gets the blood up, you picked the right video. This is Lakers News Fan Report. Hit subscribe, drop a like, ring the bell so you don't get caught flat-footed when the next call hits the wire. Around here we love the lights, but we respect the work, rotations, matchups, cap levers, no fluff. Showtime brain, blue-collar stomach. Let's lay down the track before we run the train. For all the glitz of Los Angeles, the hole this roster has flirted with for years is painfully unglamorous, reliable playoff-proof center minutes that don't grind AD's gears to dust by February. Anthony Davis is an apex predator at both 4 and 5, but you get the absolute best version of him when you let him choose the hunt, not pull the sled every night. You want him erasing lobs with weak side flights, prowling passing lanes, ruining sets with his presence. You want him as a threat, not a sponge? To do that, you need a front-court adult who screens with purpose, spaces without lying about it, talks on defense like a middle linebacker, and never panics when the possession goes sideways. That player doesn't need to win a dunk contest. He needs to win margins. That's a short list every summer. In mid-September, it's a postage stamp. Now we can say it out loud. The buzz right now is that the Lakers have slid an offer framework across the table to Al Horford. Not a fairy tale, not a handshake photo, not a done deal, an offer framework. Short-term by design, role first by design, with usage and incentives, built around what he actually does at a high level in year 19. Angle screens that free stars, pick-and-pop gravity that bends coverages, and defensive quarterbacking that stops runs without a timeout. The phrase around the building feels very Los Angeles and very honest. Meter Oluco. Push the door that's open a crack, force the favorite to actually close, and make the decision real instead of assumed. You do not sit around while someone else fumbles their paperwork. Before you ask, yes, other teams have been hovering around Horford's name. That's precisely why the timing matters. If another contender is slow playing clarity, you don't send memes, you send a plan. Los Angeles is a plan town when it wants to be, and the plan here is beautiful because it's boring. 16 to 20 minutes most nights. No chasing back-to-backs just to prove a point. A playoff role that matters without pretending it's 2018. A promise that his brain will be used, not just his legs. And the biggest promise of all, you won't be asked to be something you're not. You will be asked to do exactly the handful of things that make the Lakers harder to guard and harder to shake. Let's talk ball because that's where this idea snaps into focus. Picture a middle third possession where LeBron brings it up against a switch-ready defense. Horford sets a ghost screen at 26 feet. The defense hesitates just long enough to force a communication. He slips to the nail, receives a touch, and immediately snaps it to Reeves on a backdoor because the top lock is late. 2 points that look simple and are anything but. Now imagine AD on the weak side, unhounded, because the low man had to stunt at the nail, and the next possession you run the exact same action and simply reverse it. That's the second and third read this offense too often loses in the noise of late-clock hero shots. Horford gives you the 0.5 decision-maker who turns checkers into chess without stopping the ball. Flip the floor. Defense, fourth quarter, crowd loud. Opponent runs Spain pick and roll to manufacture a clean corner three. Horford is the one who says red, tags the roller late so AD can stay high on the ball, and peels back to contest the skip pass without fouling. Those three words, red, stay, peel, save you 3 points and swing the next 2 minutes. Across a series, that's a win. Across a season, that's a seed. Now put AD next to him. It's almost too tidy. When Horford guards the heavy body, AD can be the monster in the closet, the free safety who ruins the party from the weak side. When the opponent plays small, Horford's shooting above the break keeps the dunker spot open for AD's seals. When they switch across, Horford punishes with a seal of his own and then pops right out if the help is thick. And if you want to go full galaxy brain, picture a closing five where Reeves and another shooter orbit around LeBron, AD, Horford, and the opponent simply cannot decide whether to live with pop threes, lobs, or the bully post. You're not adding flash. You're adding arguments the defense has to have in real time. Money isn't a dirty word. It's a roadmap. Under this new apron world, you win with levers, not wish lists. The Lakers' pitch makes sense if it's short, clean, incentive-rich, and honest. Games played bonuses that reward availability without punishing smart rest. Distance and percentage triggers that pay for real gravity. A partial guarantee date that protects everyone if the fit is fiction. You don't break the pay ladder for a veteran big with 35,000 NBA minutes. You respect him with clarity, and you invite him into a role that gets bigger when the lights get bright. And because this franchise has history with year 19 excellence, you can look a veteran in the eye and say, yes, we know how to manage this without draining your battery in January. But he's 39. I can hear it through the screen, and it's fair. Here's why that doesn't scare me. Horford's game is like a great point guard. Angles, timing, hands, positioning. His box score might whisper, but his impact can still shout if used the right way. You're not betting on vertical pop. You're betting on the 3 reads he's made 10,000 times, and the 1 slide step he takes to make sure your weak side low man actually gets home. You're buying calm. Calm is currency in the second round. What about the optics of a Celtic in purple and gold? If he screens your star open and turns a Game 5 in Denver, nobody is writing odes to old rivalries. This is Los Angeles. Rings make peace. Besides, LeBron once wore cavalry blue. Dwight once wore the enemy's cape. Rondo carried us through a bubble run. If you do the job in June, the jersey becomes the story. Until then, fit is king. What about the wings? Always. You don't stop hunting switchy two-way wings just because you signed a veteran big. Buyouts exist. Trades exist. Development exists. Horford's slice of resources should be modest and surgical. The thrill ride on the wing market continues, whether he's here or not. What he does is raise the floor of every possession between now and the deadline. That keeps you in the mix long enough for the next move to matter. Whose minutes does he take? The truth? Everyone gives a little, so the whole gives a lot. AD steals 5 extra breaths a night and arrives fresher in closing time. LeBron slides off ball for 4 or 5 possessions without the offense stalling. A young big in the room gets a masterclass every practice in screen angles, hand placement, when to dive and when to pop. And when the postseason shrinks lineups to 8.5, you have the flexibility to go double big IQ for 5 minutes that change a series. Or sit him entirely if the matchup screams for switch, everything speed. The point is choice. Great teams arrive in May with choices. Draw the line between truth and rumor one more time because it matters. There is no parade route being measured tonight, no signature being waved around, no done whispered to insiders. There is a door that looked closed a week ago and is now ajar. There is a front office in Los Angeles that understands the value of forcing a yes or no in September instead of waiting for someone else to decide your spring. There is a veteran big who fits the basketball math here as cleanly as any non-star on the market. That's the stew. If you want fairy dust, you won't find it on this channel. If you want the grown-up version of why this could happen and why it would matter, you just heard it. Here's my stance, stamped and framed. Do it on Lakers terms. Put a 1-year incentive-heavy proposal on the table with crystal-clear usage, partial guarantee dates, and a playoff plan that means something. Promise him you won't waste his legs chasing odd back-to-backs. Promise him he'll be on the floor when his skills change the scoreboard, not when the calendar says Tuesday. If the number starts creeping into fantasy because someone else is selling postcards and nostalgia, you smile, you shake hands through the phone, and you pivot. Don't clog your wing lane, don't compromise your ability to strike in February, and don't pretend this is 2018. Bring him here to be exactly what he still is, a floor raiser with a ringmaker's brain. Now it's your turn, Laker Nation. Would you greenlight a 1-year roll deal for Horford with minutes in the teens and a clear closing plan? Or would you roll those minutes into a youth bet and keep the powder dry for a wing? Are you cool with a partial guarantee that locks in December if the fit is real? Or do you want everything on a strict per-game basis? And the real question that decides the whole thing, how many closing lineups do you want to see him next to AD in a second-round series? 5 minutes? 8 minutes or none unless the opponent refuses to leave drop coverage. Talk to me in the comments like you're in the film room with us. Pick a lane and defend it. I'll close with the simplest version of the case. This isn't about headlines or jersey swaps. It's about geometry. It's about adding one more adult to an offense that occasionally forgets its way through the second and third rid. One more signal caller to a defense that sometimes needs a steady voice above the noise. If Los Angeles has truly put a real, respectful offer in front of Al Horford, then we're not chasing a name. We're building a team that knows exactly what it wants to look like when the music gets loud. Make the call. Make it clean. Make the floor higher and the decision simpler so that when the West turns mean, the Lakers turn calm.